In this episode, we're unpacking a critical lesson from the field, a lesson written across 4 pipeline failures in a single year. This isn't about paperwork, it's about pipe walls, corrosion cells, and what really happens when solids meet chemistry in the wrong way. Let's set the scene. In 2024, 4 separate pipelines failed across a gathering system in Northwest Alberta. All 4 failures followed a familiar sequence. The pipelines were dormant. Then came a well restart. Liquids surged. Solids that had settled in the well bores were suddenly mobilized and pushed downstream. And that's where the trouble began. Initially, these looked like classic under-deposit corrosion failures. Solids entered the pipeline, settled in low-velocity segments, and initiated corrosion under stagnant water films. Standard mitigation was in place, pigging routines, batch inhibitor programs, and yet the failures occurred anyway. That disconnect forced a deeper investigation, and what it revealed was something more aggressive, something most operators aren't prepared for. This was not just under-deposit corrosion. This was a second mechanism, a more dangerous one, what we now refer to as supercell corrosion. Here's how it works. When batch corrosion inhibitors are applied into a pipeline that still contains solids, especially sticky, biomass-like deposits, those inhibitors can adsorb onto the surface of the solids. Instead of creating a protective layer, they form a boundary that traps corrosive fluids and accelerates localized attack. The result? A highly reactive microenvironment that initiates rapid, aggressive corrosion. And not just at the bottom of the line. These supercells can form anywhere along the pipe. That's what makes them so dangerous. Let's talk numbers. Typical under-deposit corrosion might accelerate metal loss by a factor of 50 compared to baseline unmitigated conditions. That's already serious. But in the case of supercell formation, the rate can jump as high as 250 times the baseline. That's not just accelerated, it's catastrophic. Now here's the part that matters most for anyone working in pipeline operations. These failures happened despite the use of batch inhibitors and pigging. Why? Because the timing was wrong. The chemistry was introduced before the solids were removed. The inhibitor didn't solve the problem, it became part of it. But there's good news. In early 2025, an inline inspection was conducted on another pipeline in the same region. This one had been managed with a stricter protocol, mechanical brush pigs used immediately after restart events, and batch inhibitors only introduced once solids had been confirmed to be absent. The result? A clean line, no metal loss, no anomalies, minimal debris. A pipeline still in as new condition. This is the turning point in the story. Because what that inspection proves is this. The mitigation works, but only when applied in the correct order and under the right conditions. And that's where we need to shift. Away from routine schedules, away from blanket chemical programs, towards something more intelligent, something condition-based. Here's what that looks like in practice. Anytime a well restart occurs, especially if there's a short duration surge over 25 cubic meters per hour, immediate pigging should be triggered. Use mechanical cleaning tools, not just foam or disc pigs. If you observe debris while pigging, do not apply batch inhibitors until those solids are confirmed to be fully removed. Use camera inspections or removable spools to validate internal condition if necessary. And finally, apply inhibitors only to clean pipe, where they can form a protective barrier, not a corrosive trap. This isn't just theory. This approach reflects best-in-class practice validated in multiple failure investigations, including recent comparative studies across Western Canada's pipeline infrastructure. In those studies, pipelines that followed surge-triggered pigging protocols saw a complete elimination of failures and a 60% reduction in chemical usage. So what's the takeaway? Corrosion is no longer just about the type of fluid or the coating system. It's about flow behavior, solids dynamics, and inhibitor interaction. And unless we understand how these elements interact in real time, we're going to keep chasing failures instead of preventing them. To prevent the next incident, we need discipline, operational readiness, and a strategy that adapts to what's actually happening inside the line, not what we think should be happening on paper. 2024 gave us a clear message. Solids matter, timing matters, and the path to safer pipelines starts with knowing when, not just how, to intervene. Thanks for joining us on this important deep dive.